Kairos. A name whispered in the halls of power, not with fear, but with a respect bordering on awe. He was young, a mere stripling compared to the grizzled veterans of court, yet his mind was a weapon sharper than any sword forged in the kingdom of Illyria. He had come to court as a young man, eyes bright with ambition. However, he was no fool. He knew the treacherous currents that flowed beneath the seemingly placid surface of courtly life. King Theron sat upon the throne of Illyria. A giant of a man, his presence was commanding, his voice like thunder echoing through the throne room. Theron was a warrior king, a man who had won his crown through blood and iron. He valued loyalty above all else, and any hint of treachery was met with swift and brutal justice. But behind the king's formidable exterior, Kairos detected a flicker of insecurity. Theron craved the adoration of his subjects, the constant reassurance of his own greatness. This, Kairos realized, was the key to navigating the treacherous waters of court. He understood that to rise in this court, he needed to master a different kind of warfare, the subtle, intricate dance of power. He knew that the truly powerful never sought to outshine the master. Kairos knew he could not afford to be an open threat. He had to become indispensable to Theron, but not in a way that would cast a shadow over the king's own sense of importance. He chose to become the king's shadow, always present, always offering wise counsel but never overshadowing. He mastered the art of subtle suggestion, planting seeds of strategy in the king's mind as if they were the king's own thoughts. In the council chambers, where the fate of the kingdom was decided, Kairos excelled. His mind, a steel trap, absorbed information, analyzed it, and wove it into strategies that resonated with the king's own instincts. However, he never presented his ideas as his own. Instead, he would subtly guide the conversation, steering Theron towards the conclusion he desired. The king, feeling the weight of his own decision-making, would then claim the strategy as his own. "Your Majesty," Kairos would begin, his voice a low murmur, "have you considered the strategic advantage we might gain by..." And then, he would lay out his plan, cloaked in language that appealed to Theron's military mind. The king, always eager to demonstrate his strategic prowess, would seize upon these ideas with enthusiasm, believing them to be the product of his own brilliance. Word spread through the court of Kairos's intellect, his ability to anticipate problems and offer solutions. Other nobles, envious of his proximity to the king, began to see him as a threat. Some tried to win him over, believing he was the true power behind the throne. Others sought to discredit him, whispering of conspiracies and treachery. Kairos, ever vigilant, navigated these treacherous waters with grace and cunning. One evening during a lavish banquet in the Grand Hall, a rival noble, Lord Valerius, approached Kairos. Valerius, a haughty man with a tongue as sharp as a dagger, had long seen Kairos as a threat. With a sardonic smile, he raised his goblet in a mock toast. To Kairos, he announced, his voice dripping with false sincerity, "The true ruler of Illyria." The room fell silent. All eyes turned to Kairos, watching for his reaction. This was a test, a carefully laid trap. To accept the compliment would be to confirm his ambition, to brand himself a threat to the king. But to deny it too vehemently would be to appear weak, to invite further attacks. Kairos, however, was not so easily ensnared. He met Valerius's gaze with a look of calm amusement. "Lord Valerius," he replied, his voice smooth as silk, "your wit is as sharp as ever, but you do our king a disservice. It is his vision that guides us, his strength that protects us." He then raised his own goblet in a toast to Theron. To King Theron, he declared, his voice ringing with genuine admiration, "The true ruler of Illyria, may his reign be long and prosperous." The court, relieved by Kairos's deft deflection, erupted in cheers. Valerius, his trap sprung and his plan foiled, could only scowl and slink back into the crowd. Kairos once again had proven his loyalty and, more importantly, had reinforced Theron's image as a wise and powerful ruler. He had turned a potential disaster into an opportunity to further solidify his position. The king, pleased by Kairos's public display of loyalty, beamed with pride. He clapped Kairos on the shoulder, his grip firm but friendly. "Well spoken, Kairos," he boomed. "You are a true friend and a valuable advisor." Theron, oblivious to the subtle game of power that had just transpired, had unwittingly affirmed Kairos's position as his most trusted confidant.